you recommended Brielle Hansen to us.
Yes.
And Joel Zika.
Yes.
So was there anyone else? Or is that it? I mean, I know you recommended more, but these are the ones we chose. Yeah. How do you come across these artists in your role as a curator?
Well, you know, it was good timing, that question coming from you, because I've been thinking a lot about the role of regional galleries and about how we kind of fulfil this niche that I think a lot of the artists here at the Notfair do. And I should preface by saying, by being involved in the Notfair, I'm not suggesting that regional galleries or any regional galleries that I know of would be considered or treated unfairly or anything, I think. But I think the kind of artists who we work with are in many cases kind of in danger of falling through the cracks, either by being, I guess they're kind of in this in-between zone. They might be probably out of art school, they've probably had a few shows at artist-run galleries. They're not quite at the level of, you know, the major institutional galleries yet, like NGV at the top or some of the other ones beneath. So I guess we see our role as providing opportunities for artists and facilitating understanding and appreciation of their work and enabling them that opportunity to progress with their career and build ideas and explore their ideas in a public realm. And I think increasingly with developments in technology, being in a regional gallery doesn't have that distance that it traditionally has. You know, the shows that we do there, I think, exist in a kind of global sense, and people can kind of experience them from afar. We do good quality publications, and we put images online, and we work in a kind of global context.
Right.
I think.
So you've been talking about how you're helping these artists, and perhaps artists who you think deserve a wider audience. And what's the other side of that from the public gallery's perspective? I mean, what are your obligations to the audience?
Sure. I think we certainly have obligations to the local visitation. There's a lot about, and I should say the Gippsland Art Gallery in Wellington Shire. Wellington Shire is the third largest in Victoria and has one of the smallest populations. So for that shire in particular to support the arts the way that they do, and we're about to embark on the building of a new purpose-built art facility, which is really exciting. But for them to support the arts in the way that they do is just phenomenal. So certainly we have an obligation that.
But do you think these people need art? And that's your role, is to bring interesting ideas to them.
It is, and I don't think that being in a regional area should mean that you suffer in terms of the kind of art that you get to experience. I think my role there is to ensure that they can experience the kind of work that you know, the best work possibly that could be seen regardless of where you are. So I'm always trying to bring down what I think is a really good cross-section of what's happening in art today, the best examples for these people to experience, but always, of course, drawing people from outside the region to explore this area that I find so wonderful as well.
It sounds like Notfair has a similar agenda in terms of wanting to give artists a wider audience to your role in the public gallery. But the thing that differs the most, I guess, is that we want to sell the work for the artists.
Sure.
And it was great today to be able to sell one of the artists that you recommended, Joel Zika, who I don't believe has ever sold anything before. So perhaps that could be part of your role as well, in terms of your bringing artists to a wider audience, is helping establish their careers.
For me, it's about building a profile of the artist more than anything. If they sell something along the way, that's fantastic. But I think because of the kind of shows that we're able to do without any pressure of being commercial in any way, we're able to particularly exhibit artists who would not be considered saleable by commercial galleries and may not find a niche at an art fair because of that. So our agenda is essentially curatorial, and finding work that is exciting and makes you think about, you know, life and see things in a new way. I think one of the things that the NGV say is it's in their mission, is to illuminate life. And I think that's a really beautiful kind of phrase, and I would like to think about that in terms of what we do at our regional gallery.
So how do you find artists, though? You're out there, where there aren't a lot of... Well, the artists that you show out there don't often come from that region, do they?
No, we do show 30% of the shows that we do 30 exhibitions a year over 4
30?
galleries, yes. And 30% of those need to be local content, which is, you know, very happy to do that.
Yep.
And generally it's much higher than that. But I'm always thinking about presenting as broad a cross-section as possible. So we show emerging and established media forms across all, you know, all art forms. So there's new media, there's sculpture and painting and printmaking, you know, you name it, we do it there because we want to show the public there, encourage them to think about art in new ways and to think outside the square, really.
Yeah,
you know, art just doesn't...
But how do you actually find these artists? That's what I want to know.
Okay, sure.
You're out there in Gippsland. You must
Well, I
have
spent a lot of time in Melbourne and in other cities, just travelling around. A lot of time on the internet now, and you know, I probably would have thought twice about taking a role like this 5 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, certainly 10 years ago, because our ability now to look at art online is just incredible.
So there's a tremendous amount of research involved in your
absolutely.
job.
There's nothing that compares to experiencing an art in the flesh. You always need to do that, but to find that art that you want to experience in the flesh, usually you scope it out online first and think, hey, that looks pretty cool, I think I need to go and see that. So something like the art fair and the Notfair, that, you know, they're both fantastic in that they bring so much work together at the same time, so that you can do that. Because you do get spread pretty thin, and I try to see as many of the shows that are on as possible because you have to.
Yeah, it's your job. That's good.
I mean, I want to anyway, but it's great that I also need to now. But you know, you can't keep me out of galleries. It's just where I live. And I want to share that enthusiasm and passion with the people that come to the gallery, and for them to come in and just be blown away by the things that blow me away. And part of my role is to facilitate that appreciation and understanding. There's nothing better than seeing someone come into a gallery and they're just confused, they don't know what it's about. And you know, just a few helpful words, just a few suggestions of how they might approach the work, why the artist has made the work. Just to see that look of illumination on their faces is just priceless.
Right.
And that's what I live for, really.